So I think Assadi version 1.1 is live.
New Assadi just dropped.
Rumi has been pushed to production. It is now live. So big congratulations to our fourth compadre who's not here.
Yeah, she's adorable.
She's adorable.
Adorable.
We saw a picture. Mama and baby are healthy, and yeah, we have birthday 0 as of yesterday, January 31st. Big moment. I did anyone get a little? I got a little teary-eyed.
Yes, I literally cried when he sent me the photo.
But it's weird because for 9 months I've known he's gonna have a kid, or like whatever. I've known maybe 7 months, and but when he sent the picture of him holding the child, that was a little. I think it hit me. I was like, oh shit, you have a kid.
It's like weird seeing like somebody you've known for a while, and you guys have known him for even longer.
That's
it's just
true,
like
yeah.
they have. Oh, you have a baby. Like it's a real just shift in your life.
Right, because it's also like a shift. You like notice a shift for their life, but it's also a shift for yours and maybe even your relationship. But I think each time I've had a friend send a picture of them holding the child, it's like, yeah, hits you in the feels.
Yeah, it's like wild.
Yeah.
Do you have I mean, I have like so much FOMO today. Obviously, everybody's got a lot of FOMO, but do you have baby FOMO? Are you?
My
getting
girlfriend
baby FOMO?
does. Yeah. No, my girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah, when Mina saw that for the first time, she's like, "We're getting one."
Yeah, my girlfriend added 3 to cart and is waiting. I'm pretty sure she's already tracking what is it like when your highest fertility probability is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's being happened probably without me. She hasn't explicitly acknowledged to me, but I know it's happening. I know it's happening. Yeah, I mean a little bit, but like, yeah, I guess.
Well, I had double baby today because
our
Yeah,
friend, our mutual friend, yeah.
yeah, he's having his kid today as well. So they're both having a baby.
Same
Wait,
birthday.
that's wild. He was
I know.
texting me 2 days ago about some work stuff.
Yeah.
Was he in the hospital texting me?
No, went in like early or late last night, or
Okay.
or early this morning.
All right.
Was
Yeah.
Armand making trades in the room?
He
was
might
asking.
have-
He was asking about
We did a little thing. We did a little degen thing that we haven't done in a while. And the 3 of us were texting each other, knowing Armand is at the hospital. And a little like lemur pops up in the middle of the conversation. Should I buy this from the hospital? We were like, this is one of those. I think I said, assume it's going to go down 80%. And Steven was like, correction, 100%.
Yes.
It will go down 100%. I don't even know what the token is.
It's
IMGAI.
IMGN AI. Imagine AI.
So this is one that Steven was following because if you were on crypto Twitter, there was like a stream of purported AI generated pictures of some scantily clad women in lingerie, and they were saying these are AI generated, and they kind of went viral. And then I just saw, I was like, oh wow, you can start in OnlyFans with AI generated women and make money off it. And you went a little deeper and found that there was a token behind it. I don't even know why there would be a token behind it in the first place.
I think there's actually a good reason for stuff like this to have a token.
So yeah, what is that? Because we didn't even talk about it. We just
pure YOLO.
we just did one of those.
Yeah. So the thesis on this is it's analogous to Bitcoin and drugs, right? Because
What did I invest in?
Go on.
I should probably elaborate on that a little bit. One of the reasons Bitcoin got traction in the early days, obviously, was the Silk Road. There was a bit of a product market fit because people wanted to acquire a good and they couldn't, go onto some Shopify website and swipe their credit card. Although I did see people doing that on TikTok the other day. And I was like, you're going to jail. It's like literally FedExing people like boxes of drugs and just selling like hoodies, but they're just boxes of drugs. And he's posting about it on TikTok.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was on I think that, that TikTok investors account, which is just one of the best follows
One of the worst.
on Twitter. It just makes me sad every time I see it. But yeah, so obviously whenever we invent technology, one of the first things that men do is like, how can I use this technology to sexually gratify myself? And
Yes.
you know, we've talked a lot about like the sex robots and all the weird stuff and the metaverse. It's just going to keep getting weirder, right? So obviously people are taking the AI thing, right? We're like, ooh, this is cool. We can generate all these really amazing images of stuff, and we can make movies. But a lot of people out there are like, well, can I do porn?
Right.
Like, can I just think up?
The adult industry is quite an early adopter of
Yes.
technology.
Yes, and like we've had that in crypto. We had Spank Chain, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Remember Cumrocket?
Oh yeah.
Did you see that? By the way, like the SBF portfolio it still has like $130,000 of Cumrocket in it. They must have had.
Wow. Who's the
Oh, so everyone's safe.
John Ray the Third hasn't sold the cum rocket to cash yet? What the hell is that guy doing?
but anyway, I guess the idea is going to be that. So you might say like, well, why do you need a token for this? Why don't you just pay with like a credit card or something? But what's obviously predictably going to happen is, so we've already taken like ChatGPT and we say don't do that. Like it can't say certain things. It can't comment on particular things. Like DALL-E like can't draw like naked women.
Right.
Although the model was trained on just millions of pornographic images just because of the nature of what happens. So they tried to remove that from it. But some of the crafty people on the internet have figured out how to kind of get around that.
Prompt
And
it.
yeah, like there's this like underground culture of people building these models out to do this stuff now. So obviously there's going to be a backlash against it, I think. And it's very plausible to me that we ban payment processors and stuff because people start using this for like kind of crazy shit.
Right.
But then we pay with the token.
I see. Now,
So,
okay, you came back around. I see now.
You're saying it's like a decentralized way to keep these images up and going and maybe transact with them. Like it's actually are you saying this is a use case for crypto?
I don't think it's a good use. I'm not saying it's morally good, right?
Yeah.
But it seems inevitable to me that the tech is going to get to a point where people stop watching like porn that is just whatever somebody filmed it, and they just start creating their own using these tools, maybe often from like people they know and stuff like that. And I think there's going to be like a backlash against that legally. It's going to be very uncomfortable for humanity, and it's going to drive a lot of this underground. And there's probably going to be this like enormous subculture that pops up saying like, don't restrict us using this tech.
That's really interesting. I mean, well, first off, don't buy this stupid coin. It's not financial advice. It's just gambling.
It is up 1,000% in 7 days.
It's the exact reason maybe not to buy
It's
it.
up like 16,000%. It is.
Well, there you go.
Well, it went from like a 200. I think it was like a 200.
It's a meme coin at this
200K
point.
to like 30. It's at like 36 million market cap now.
Well, anyway, I was thinking about our last AI episode where we were talking about how education will evolve and how everyone will have essentially personalized tutors. That's what it will be. Like you'll just have an AI tutor and it'll just know your development, move faster, move slower, give you more context, skip ahead, give you the answer if it thinks it needs it. And you're saying that could happen for porn or for sex or just any kind of adult category where they can kind of customize it for their own. You don't go to Pornhub to search, through 10 million porn videos and your favorite search terms. You use your customized
you're
AI
just gonna
algorithm.
type whatever you want.
Sounds
to
pretty
see.
great on one hand.
Great and extremely dangerous, I think.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to be jerked off to.
Right. well, are they? Because
Well, I think initially, if we're saying people are just going to create imaginary women, I think this is actually good in a lot of ways, right? Because you could say, well, maybe it's going to reduce a lot of sex trafficking and stuff like it. The other side of the coin is like there's a lot of people who are probably going to be upset that they're put out of work is
people
like
who
OnlyFans. Like I don't know, maybe like OnlyFans.
No, we're going to
girls
make
take
a
a hit.
ton of money off OnlyFans with this.
Right, but you, a guy, are going to be taking it from. Not saying you're literally going to do this, but I was talking. I actually sent this idea to a friend who I know likes to try this like stuff out. I was like, dude, I think you can just make an OnlyFans. You just make like hundreds of OnlyFans accounts generated by AI. He's like, Oh yeah, I'm already working on that.
I can imagine a world where like you figure out which niche of woman that has the biggest audience or maybe even the highest paying audience. You customize it, you keep down that same thing, and you can generate images of them doing whatever to make it feel, even if they know like I'm getting got by some AI, but like it makes them feel like they have a relationship with them. Maybe the AI even chats back with them. Like I know a lot of these OnlyFans accounts have CSR agents in Philippines. Instead of doing customer service, they're chatting back and forth to monetize their
They've
OnlyFans
outsourced
account.
all of
They've
that.
outsourced it, right? Which is fascinating. But yeah, at some point there's going to be a way to automate this, and I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the business.
So
model.
you guys are talking about creating a fake person.
Totally.
But like, I think the scary thing is when you can use AI to like take the real person that you admire and bring them into a pornographic world.
Like pick your favorite celebrity. Say
sure.
It's gonna be worse than celebrities. It's gonna be like
the person down the street that you don't know, but maybe you live in
Yeah.
the same building as.
Yeah,
That's creepy.
Like it's already kind of nasty what happens to like teenage girls on social media today. Like it's gonna be really we're not that far away from some like mean guys like literally just turning girls they don't like and just putting them in like a full on like deep fake porno. Like
I mean,
and what is to stop that from
Because if
happening?
you get their Instagram account or something, that
Yeah.
could be enough images to like,
Yes.
create it.
Like I wonder if in the future like people are gonna look back and be like, you used to just post pictures of yourself on the internet. Like
Damn.
what?
in public.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
not
you
keep
just
it
get-
private.
Yeah, like maybe that's a thing we do now that is going to be a terrible idea in the not so distant future.
Yeah, I mean, we have friends, women who have, followers. They're pretty, whatever, and people are already like copying their images to create accounts. So you could even see the next extension of that is like you said, using them as seeds for AI imagery, video to do that. I wonder if the first lawsuit, because there's obviously going to be some kind of litigation and decisions made in court about, well, how much copyright does some seed into an AI like have over a work that's I don't know, changed enough or not changed enough? Like that's going to go to court and it's going to be messy.
There's got to be some regulation. How does it exist now? Because like the deep fake sort of porn stuff has kind of been removed, or like
Yeah, I mean,
where does that stand now?
We've talked about maybe bringing on an attorney who could like explain this to us. But I know with like most works, like as an artist, like you guys have seen a few pop artists who take like brand names, or like Alex Monopoly is like a popular culture artist who takes the Monopoly kind of image and morphs it enough where it's something new.
Well, Warhol made the Campbell soup exactly the same.
Exactly. So I think there's probably some kind of rule, or that where like if you transform it enough into a new work, there's no copyright.
Yeah, I don't know the law behind this, but I'm pretty certain I've heard that it's like not legal to do that, at least in this country and probably in like Europe and other places like that. Obviously, people still do it like on the internet,
Right.
But this is like another area where crypto, like if we have decentralized storage, decentralized GPU processing, and all of these elements, like, well, there isn't going to be a way to take it down. Like it's going to just be out there, right? And then like, how do we deal with that as a society? What does that even look like when if everybody's got some, like you're just walking into the office and somebody pulls up you just banging on a video. Somebody's like,
I mean, you could already do that with probably like one of those face replacing apps, I'd imagine. Like,
well, there have already been apps banned from the store, or like there were some scandals where some apps that were in the iPhone store, like people were able to get them to like turn people in, like do like nude photos of them and stuff. And I think they were pulled pretty quickly. I forgot the names of the apps, but like this stuff is like already kind of in the tech, and we're trying to suppress it. And meanwhile, people are also just building out. There's like a culture of people who are just building out their own infrastructure around that eventually everybody's just going to tap into. And then there's people doing like the shitcoin we bought, like they're training their own model and opening access to that.
I mean, there's so much money to make. Like, why would someone be so dumb enough to be like, well, I'm going to base it off this real life person that I know personally, when there's just other opportunities to make money, even, I don't know. It just seems like a
people want to do that because that's like what's most attractive to them. Like when you're like
creepy.
When you're like a teenage boy, right, and you're like fantasizing about your hot teacher, you want to fantasize about like the real teacher. You don't invent a made up teacher in your head. It's like the fact that it's that person is like that's like a draw to people. Like we have to be honest about that, and like people are going to want to use the tech for that. And
what if this thing gets
so weird?
What if it gets kind of like self-policed? What I mean by that is like imagine you have to own some of this like GNAI token in order to create this stuff, but then we as a society sort of like deem that just awful that you own it, and then we kind of like blacklist people that have that in wallets, kind of like the way that we do with whatever that like what's like Kelly's List or something. Somebody moves into your neighborhood, they're on this list, and you kind of what do they call that?
But that's because like
diddler
you
list.
are a person. Yeah. If you're just a wallet address, like what good will it do? If you're just like an anon wallet address on the blockchain,
Hard to stay very anon.
I mean, if it was me or a close family member of mine, I would want to pursue some kind of legal action. Like, right? I think I would naturally want that. Like, if I put myself in like a quote unquote victim's shoes, I would try to, intimidate them legally anyway. Like, even if there was no, way of winning at some point.
Of course, but how do you do it if everything is decentralized in the future, or at least sufficiently so?
They've touched a centralized. They've touched a centralized, exchange at some point, right? Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. There's millions of wallets doing this, and they're doing it in foreign countries. And
the lawyer's like, "Who do you want me to serve the letter to?" And you're like, 0x57. I guess that's troublesome.
Yeah, I feel like this is not the last we're gonna hear about this.
Well, I'm kind of it feels weird, but eager to see some of these court cases brought up, and there's going to be some lawyers who are going to like purposely try to take these things to the Supreme Court for one angle.
Are you talking about the idea that these AIs are being seeded with other content people have written, and it's kind of going
like if I'm Quora right now, which is literally a question and answer platform, I imagine they've been crawled and indexed by some of these services, and maybe there's like a commercial issue that exists that we don't know about, but either way, there's going to be some. But that would be, if I was Quora, I'd be like, shit. Like, first of all, we're going to get end around by this new technology, and they're going to use our, Q&A style data to do it. And I imagine they probably have some kind of case, and maybe something like that will be the first one taken to the,
Well, you could. What might end up happening is like if assuming that we're somehow able to police this and there's some sort of copyright stuff, like, you'll probably still end up with people just like licensing their image out, right? Like if you told, like maybe OnlyFans isn't dead. Maybe they make 10 times as much money because everybody wants to use them to do their own personal videos or whatever nefarious things in the privacy of their bedroom, and like they just pay the licensing fee, and these girls are just racking up dollars.
Like you're saying that, like, take the other side where like, fuck it, use my image, I don't care.
Right. Well, like, what if it's like turning on YouTube ads onto your show? This is like turning on.
Here's my identity.
Some people might be like, well, it's not me in that. That's just the thing.
My
sure,
likeness,
I'll get paid for that, whatever.
Right. And maybe it's like well known that there are these AI images that look like certain people, but we all know there's so many of them. We all know that like we just don't believe videos that we see online because, of course it's AI generated. Like at some point, the majority of content is going to be AI generated. So, it's just accepted.
How do you believe anything then?
It hurts my brain.
You just don't. You don't.
Just don't believe anything.
Yeah.
Just everything on the internet's just not going to be like right now, the vast majority of stuff you see on the internet is real, right? It is real.
It was a
may be
photo taken at
misleading
some point
or something.
It was
but
an artist drawn.
It's largely real, and we're gonna go into an era where like maybe 99.9% of everything on the internet isn't real. Like if AI generated stuff just starts taking over, like the amount of permutations of everything is going to grow so exponentially that you're just going to assume everything online is.
I mean, NFTs are like a great
fake.
example where like, you know, as of 9 months ago, you'd be like, well, yeah, like at some point an artist had to like draw these or like create them, or even if they were algorithmically created, they created them. But going forward, I feel like if you were going to launch a product, like why wouldn't you leverage, you know, computer generated or AI assisted imagery in your NFT project? So I imagine all written. Oh, wasn't it? Did we talk about this last podcast? Was it Business Insider who said they're just going to fire everyone?
BuzzFeed?
Or
Maybe?
BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed. Yeah, they announced that they were going to use AI to write content,
Only.
and their stock doubled.
Well, they were like, we're going to lay off.
Stop doubling the
We're
days.
going to lay off most of the editors. We don't need them. So written content, imagery, video content, soon enough.
I mean, if there ever was a publication that did not need real humans to write stuff, it's probably BuzzFeed.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that entire thing could, I have no doubt ChatGPT could.
What about going beyond like the girl down the street or whatever? What about going to like the president? Like you can artificially generate anything that he says or she says.
Right.
This could be a use case of crypto somehow, right? Like if there's some way to leverage crypto to do like some sort of proof of origin of stuff, like that could actually be super interesting. Like if videos are created by, like, I don't know if everything's done on chain or there's like on chain storage or something. And I guess it has to tie in with a physical device too. But
Exactly.
like you could cryptographically sign something when you create it. And then like there could be no way to alter it without changing like the hash of the file or something. And then you could have like a whole chain of custody from the point where it's created to the person using it. Like that could be like really interesting. And that could be super needed in this kind of weird world we're talking
There's
about.
probably a product market fit for that now, even though this isn't abundant. But like if a device manufacturer, whether it's, you know, these Sony cameras or an iPhone, said, if you would like, you can cryptographically, you know, sign that, yes, this came from a device. It wasn't altered. It was like taken by the camera. It's the raw photo. There's been zero editing done, and, you know, make that signature to help do that. So I imagine at some point that'll be
Is that
amazing
similar
feature.
to like what they're trying to build on the Solana phone?
I
Was
don't-
that the
I
gist
don't
of
pay
it?
attention
There's
to
some
stuff.
physical elements of it. I don't know. Apparently nobody knows about this, so maybe this is a dead end. But I think they wanted to instantiate something in the physical phone
Well,
it was something that couldn't be done on like an Apple
Like
device.
that makes sense, right? I mean, like if you were gonna integrate a crypto native device, there would be some kind of feature like that. But I don't know if they foresaw what kind of Chat GPT and some of these new tools have kind of opened up for us, as like the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, man. And I don't know, like maybe you could do that with like the AI too. Like maybe there's a way to, if you somehow scrape and categorize all of the data on chain or something, maybe there's a way to actually see like the origin of any output and all like the components of it and trace it back and compensate on the basis of that.
Yeah, can you upload a photo to the source and be like, is this did you create this or was it uploaded? Like, is this the original source? Like, could you ask the AI, like just as much as you could tell it to stop, could you ask it, is this the original? Well, you know, are those safeguards in there? I don't know.
I heard what's probably going to end up happening is we're going to have like AI. You know how we have like the robot.txt on stuff on the websites
Yeah.
and like Google, you can crawl this page, or Google, you can't crawl this page. And then we have to do the same thing with AI at a certain point. Like this can get scraped or this can't get scraped. But I do kind of think the next step forward would be to figure out how to do some sort of like microtransactions and licensing on all of that. If you could tie all of that back into the model and like the outputs, I don't know how you would do it. It seems like a very difficult problem.
If you look at like, there was a website called Genius Lyrics originally. I think it's now just called Genius. And so if you go back in time,
wait, is that Rap
Oh yeah, sorry, I should
Rap-
explain what it is. Yeah, it was Rap Genius.
Wasn't that like an ex like or online poker player who started that?
I don't know the
I feel like it
founder,
was like posted in
but essentially what they did was they published lyrics of rap artists, And at some point, there was like a union that represent the artists and said, hey, you're not paying your fair share. We're going to sue all of you. And they published this list of all the lyric sites that were kind of like taking some kind of commercial benefit from these artists. And Rap Genius was at number 1. But Rap Genius used it to their benefit. So they entered negotiations. They entered some commercial deal after a bunch of, shouting at you in the press of legal this, legal that. Behind the scenes, they were working on a deal. They signed some kind of like commercial, agreement where they got compensated to some degree, maybe fractions of the penny of what, that artist could receive for, publishing their lyrics. And maybe whoever is the leader in this could like cement some kind of market dominance by saying, we're happy to pay any people that we, are seeds into this. You're going to get your share of this, which may be fractions of a penny, but at least you will. And then what happened in that scenario was that more people felt okay transacting with them because there wasn't this like legal, outstanding liability with them. There was some kind of commercial agreement where it felt okay to, interact with them. So maybe something similar will happen where a market leader might, just sign some of these deals up, make commercial agreements, and take market share.
I remember a couple of like shitcoins back in the day trying to do something like this. I remember buying one of them. I think it was called like Poet, like po.et, and it had like a slick looking website, and it was like, it was using blockchain to sort of allow content creators to sort of be compensated and to do like copyright tracking and stuff like that. It'd be really hilarious if it was just like 8 years ahead of its time. And actually, it was an incredible idea.
All right, should we change topics a little bit?
Pivot.
Yeah.
We want to talk. Do you want to talk about the Braintree guy?
Yeah, I do. So
let's talk about that. This is a great thing.
This is a fascinating thing, and also kind of like ties in with something I recently did. So this last weekend, I went up to LA and I did a full body MRI scan with Pre-Nuvo. My girlfriend and I went, and we got it done. It was like an hour inside of a MRI machine.
Hold on, jump right to the conclusion. Are you healthy?
I don't know yet.
Oh, you haven't.
I don't find out for like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
From today, so we'll find out.
Okay.
And my Muay Thai trainer's like, "Oh, you're gonna be depressed afterwards." What? He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna find out all the things wrong with you." And I feel better about knowing. I'd rather know and take action about it. But anyway, I did one of these things, and I was like, "Wow, like how kind of like weird this is," but I think it's smart. Anyway, we're going to talk about someone who's on the far extreme of this. So this guy's name is Brian Johnson. He's 45 years old. He founded Braintree. That company was a payment processor, kind of like Stripe. They acquired Venmo, and then PayPal acquired Braintree for $800 million in cash. I think his takedown of that personally was about $300 million.
Nice.
So he's decided with his newfound wealth over the last few years that he's going to sink a bunch of money into specifically reversing his age. And what he's done, I'll go.
Do you know how much money he sank?
So he's on his pace is about $2 million a year is what he's spending. And not only that, we'll talk about this, but like
seems pretty low to reverse your age, to be honest.
Yes,
That's a lot of money.
There was some setup costs.
20 mil a decade.
Yeah, but no, 20 million a decade. He's got about 30 doctors and health experts that are on his team. His goal is to kind of reverse the aging process of each one of his organs. So his goal is to get the like medical age of each of his organs to 18 years old.
Hold on, they call it, is
45?
that like the biological age?
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially.
What does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
Each organ has its own biomarkers, right? We're none of the three of us are smart enough to like explain those biomarkers, but each of them
It's fine.
do.
Nobody listening to this pod expects.
Yeah. So anyway, basically, you want the values of those biomarkers to be equivalent of whatever an 18-year-old is. Here's what I find funny. So here's some organs that he's tracking.
You've got a list.
I got a list because I was like, what is he testing? Because I want to know like brain, heart, lungs, liver, kidney, tendons, teeth, skin, hair, bladder, penis, and rectum.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I'll fast forward. He has a device that measures how many erections he gets overnight to understand. It's one of the biomarkers
I heard Huberman say the same thing.
of like yeah, this is how you test if like,
Because you get hard overnight, so you can measure how hard you get.
right. And that's like a biomarker of the, you know, you have your chronological age, but your biological age of that specific organ. I don't know how you test the rectum, but I found that fascinating.
It's best not to. Not to
So yeah,
ask.
he's spending about $2 million a year. You know, his day apparently looks like waking up at 5 a.m., taking 24 supplements, taking an hour a day for exercise. 3 days of the week, it's super hard, high intensity. The other days, he covers about 25 exercises an hour. He takes in about
Wait, 25?
yeah, 25 in an hour.
So we're talking a combination of
25
cardio
different
and strength
exercises?
training.
Mostly strength training, but 3 of the days it's high intensity.
Okay.
Like
Like
25 sets or like 25 different
exercises.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. It could be like, hey, you're gonna do
Damn.
20 pull-ups, do 20 pull-ups, move on to the next exercise. By the way, he has YouTube videos of a full day, and
Really?
yeah, it's as you know,
Is it under Brian Johnson?
yeah, you could search it up, and you could find this stuff pretty quickly. This stuff went viral over the last week because he finally published some of his results, which I'll chat about in a second. But anyway, he's eating a vegan diet. It's about 1,997 calories. So
Wait,
2,000
He's eating
calories.
a vegan diet?
And he said you can do this with meat if you
Okay.
want. He's like, I just prefer to do it vegan. You can most definitely do it meat. He's taken over 33,000 images of his bowel movements as part of his test. Some other things, like 7 daily creams, because skin is an organ. So he's actually trying to make his skin look, feel, have the biomarkers of an 18-year-old. But what I find interesting is what he hasn't done. So there's been no gene therapy. There's been no resveratrol, which we've all heard about. Is kind of like a youth drug. No ice baths and no hormone treatment. No testosterone.
Ice baths.
I know.
What?
I know.
That's
That's
all a scam?
might be a scam.
Does he say? Does he say why no gene therapy?
No, but
or
like I
anything?
just found it interesting. That's what we hear about most. Is like,
Yeah, so he's just
pop
taking,
culture.
He's just taking supplements and working out.
No, I mean this guy is
Okay.
undergoing a significant amount of monitoring. So from blood tests, full body MRIs, ultrasounds, colonoscopies. Like he took one of those pills that has a camera in it, and literally it takes I don't know how many days to go through your system, but then they review the camera footage of his whole, intestines to see how healthy it is. So extreme amount of testing, but undergoing procedures that are probably pretty intense. So like laser therapy for skin.
Well, hold
all
on.
the time.
Can we? I think you're bearing the lead here. Like, how's he doing? Is this
Okay.
working? Like, is he actually slowing down or reversing the process of aging?
Yeah, so he claims that he has reversed. So he's 45. He claims that essentially he's at a biological age of 49. So he wanted to break the world record of his. He calls it the
Wait, 49?
yeah, or sorry, 39.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
It's the ultimate rug pull.
what the fuck are we talking about?
$2 million a year. You can kill yourself.
Might as well just go to Vegas and drugs and hookers. This would be a lot more fun way to do this.
So he's 39. How long has he been doing it?
Handful. So 18 months of following this protocol every day, which involves like very, regimented protocol. Like he goes to sleep at the same exact time every night. Obviously no vices, but anyway, there's been a 5.1 year epigenetic age reversal. So I guess it's not biological age, epigenetic age. Apparently they've measured it. They've slowed his pace of aging by their measure by about 25%. So he ages 25% slower than the average human being. He's got perfect muscle fat. I mean, the guy was obviously ripped at 45. He's got 5 to 6% body fat. 50% or 50 biomarkers that are perfect. A bunch of biomarkers over 100 that are less than a chronological age. His like lung and fitness tests are equivalent to an 18-year-old. So if he did like a VO2 max, for example, he's at like peak of an 18-year-old. And I found a weird stat. His body runs 3 degrees cooler than average. It's very. Yeah. So anyway, I found this fascinating because one of what lengths he's going to. Not only is he spending money, but it's a full-time job. But I found it particularly fascinating because this has gotten 2 types of responses. One is, you rich motherfucker, you are pathetic, you're a psycho, and you don't know the joy of living life with like pizza and beer. And the others who are like, holy shit, like you're publishing all this data. So I guess we didn't mention that. He's publishing everything to his website, all his results, his protocols. There's no like product or, science he's selling. He's just, this is my N of 1 study. Here's all the results. You guys can use it if you would like. And he claims he's the first person to actually document a reversal in age. And but yeah, there's been 2 different types of responses to it.
So right off the bat, do you guys believe in? I don't want to say reversing. Do you believe in like slowing down the biological aging from your natural age, which is like measuring your days on Earth?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows who Dr. Oz is, right? Like he kind of like contributed this product called, and they were founded in San Diego, called Real Age. And Real Age was basically a survey that you took, and you took, I don't know, an hour to fill out a bunch of stuff, and it would give you your real age. This is the legit version of that, where he's actually measuring the biomarkers of every single organ, and comparing it to 18-year-olds and be like, am I younger?
So I believe in that as well. But do you believe in reversing it, like going negative? Like, because I've always like maintained this framework in my mind that is like, think about it like a fire. Like you can like throw logs on a fire and like really stoke it. I think like if you like want to use testosterone as a male and like really pack on the pounds, and like I think you're like stoking your fire and you're kind of like burning yourself a little too hot. And then you can do the opposite, which would be like starving yourself and like getting yourself really, really small, and you like turn yourself into embers, like just like smoldering there and like lasting longer.
Wait, is this like the Donald Trump
Yes.
theory where he's like,
Well, I don't think Eric knew of this
wait,
connection.
have you heard this?
I've never heard of the
He
Donald Trump
believes in
theory.
there's a battery. There's a
Yeah,
certain amount
like
of
he was
energy in
asked
life.
like why he doesn't like exercise and like anything. He's just like, well, like I believe it's like a battery. I don't want to waste my battery. He just thinks like the less he does,
Okay,
I would refer to that as redacted. Like,
I gotta have like a nuanced version of that. But
I assume you were somewhere
yeah,
to the
I
side
don't,
of that.
I don't necessarily believe in that, but I do believe that like you can slow it down. I think that's pretty clear. I think like you look at something like hibernation that exists in like other mammals, and you can like really slow down the processes. And I believe that is true, but I don't know that I'm fully believing in the reversal, like going negative. Like that to me sounds.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I don't know, would you can reverse body fat, right?
You can reverse body fat.
So why
That's,
couldn't
like,
you reverse
different,
the
though,
healthiness of your liver or your kidneys?
To a certain extent, aging is due. It's just like cells replicate, and then the new cells are kind of like out of. I didn't even take a biology class in high school because
Right.
my teacher was out sick for the entire year, and I just watched movies the whole time. So I know nothing about this. But
What a best substitute teacher ever, you know?
I don't
Like,
think that
movie day, every day.
I don't think high school biology would have gotten you prepared for this conversation
Yeah,
either.
but there's something with like the telomeres, or is that how you say it? And like the DNA.
Telomeres, like the length of the telomeres
Yeah, and, like-
indicates. But I think that's like correlated. I don't know if it's causal, right? Like,
And Freeberg actually on All In last week, I can't remember anything he said because it went over my head because I'm really bad at biology. But he was talking about how they were able to supercharge the aging of like particular mice in like some group, and then bring them back by doing a particular manipulation that I forgot what it was, but it does seem like that is not an impossible thing.
yeah. So, I mean, I think slowing aging, easy to swallow. Reversing aging, it's
Right.
probably for most people to swallow because, like, and I don't believe it's because of science. It's because just what we.
Yeah, how far
think-
back do you think you can go? You want to
Right.
go back into the fetus? Like, you think you can do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he chose 18, right? It's probably like a fully developed adult.
I'm sure you can't go like past puberty. I don't think you can undo puberty, right?
I mean, we're not going Benjamin Button. That's not his goal, right? Right? Like he's
I don't
not.
think anybody wants to do that.
No.
I don't know. It's a pretty messed up world. There's somebody out
But
there
could
who wants
you
to do
could
that.
you as a 60-year-old, as a 45-year-old, he's near reaching like 18-year-old.
Well, he's 18 on like the VO2 max stuff, right? Which I believe, like
Right.
that, because that's just people train. I feel like that's just like a training thing. Like other stuff is like hard for me to. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
like,
so
the age of your
imagine-
liver and
Imagine every 2 weeks you got a report from your organs, and your organs were like, "Here's how I'm doing. I could really use this."
yeah.
And then every 2 weeks you gave it that. And there's just this constant iterative process in which you gave each organ what it needed. And to me, that it makes sense. Like he's a software entrepreneur. Like he's kind of treating it like software. Like show me the data, iterate, improve. Obviously, there's like some kind of limit where like his progress asymptotes and like, I imagine
that's what I'm curious. Did he say like the rate of change in the data? Because I think even over the course of 18 months or whatever, like maybe it went down really quickly, but then it leveled off already.
What I found interesting is that even though he decreases epigenetic age by 5 years, his doctors were like, yeah, we've done really nothing remarkable here. Like he's just made incremental progress over 18 months, kind of expected, but we've done nothing like groundbreaking. And so they think he's not even, maybe his rate of change won't increase, but it could still, at the rate it's changing now, can still continue because they think they haven't touched anything gene related, any hormonal related.
Right, he's just working out and taking pills.
The most intense thing I found was like he's taking metformin, which is like a drug for diabetics. And
Vitalik is on record taking that as well.
Right.
He's
So
into
that was the
longevity.
one I was like, okay, that's
David Sinclair takes it.
Yeah, I
Right.
feel like I should. Do you guys take that?
no.
I feel like I'm
My
supposed
doctor
to
gave me
take
a
that.
prescription for it.
In
he's
case
like,
you want to.
Well, he's like in on the studies, but I'm just like not really into taking drugs. Like
I feel like
just kidding. I love drugs.
I
If
feel
your
like
vape pen had like NAD plus in it,
why not?
Why not?
Why not?
oh
Could it
my
also
God.
taste like cotton
Wait,
candy?
Hold up. Did we just invent $1 billion business?
Well, we didn't invent shit, but yeah. Yeah.
Nick,
Okay.
did we just invent $1 billion?
Should I put it to the idea?
Yes, put that
Asana
in-
project?
Yeah, NAD metformin vape pen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll put that above a podcast transcription.
FDA would probably love this one.
Yeah.
How far can we take this idea? What if we have a like beer that when you pound it, you're just like taking vitamins?
I mean, don't get me wrong. This guy, some marketer is going to take some,
Vitamin
shit
beer.
pill and like turn this into a use Brian Johnson's like technique, all packaged up in one pill, just a free trial for $1. And then every month you get billed $90. I'm sure it's going to happen. But I mean, I kind of like that he's doing it. Like, I don't know if I would go.
Okay, so like I guess there's no like super alpha here in what he's doing other than like working super hard and
Well,
he's taking metformin and some. Is
I
there
will
anything else
say-
weird in the pills that you found?
Back to the metformin conversation. I feel like you need to graduate before you take metformin. Like he's doing the basics, which he's eating clean every single day and he's working out hard
Yeah.
every single day, an hour. Like if you're-
Huberman says this. The behavioral changes is always the first step.
so like I feel like
just
you
want
shouldn't
pillow.
take metformin if you're not crossing those two off the list. If you are and you're plateauing and you're at 9% body fat, then yeah, maybe you continue going. But my hope is that it just generally accepts monitoring all these things, because I think I didn't even ask my insurance company if they would cover the pre-nuvo thing, but I'm pretty sure they would laugh. Like preventative measurement?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you kidding me? Like why?
Idiot.
You don't pay us enough for that.
Yeah. This is the sick care system.
But
Wow.
like in the package they gave us afterwards, it was a letter from the CEO, and in one of his things was like, the biggest impact we could have is if we catch every single stage 1 cancer. Like every cancer, stage 1, you could wipe out a lot of mortality by doing that. And so if this just like makes it acceptable to do the things that seem crazy, like he's monitoring his stool and his liver and his erections at night or whatever. It's
I got
weird.
friends who do that just for fun. Like,
Yeah.
like how long would you actually want to live for? Like, he probably has a goal in mind. Is it forever?
We
Like,
had this debate.
Yeah, we had
this is
this
like an
debate, like,
old episode.
episode 5.
And I was the only one here who didn't want to die. Shockingly, I was like, "Why do you want to
no,
die?"
I do want. Well, it's because
I'm gonna look up the.
I'm picturing the side effects of not dying. Like, I don't think that you have a health span as long as your lifespan potentially.
But like, what if you can?
What if you can?
That was my thing. I was like, yeah, I don't want to live to 300 and just be in a hospital bed.
Be a jar, dude.
Just
most common is like, what if Brian Johnson gets hit by a bus? How funny would that be? There's obviously
that's
things.
just peak internet.
Yeah, peak internet. But I think for the things you can control, I would like to know the 80-20 and still monitor everything. I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to follow the protocol,
Yeah.
but it'd be nice to know as soon as something gets out of whack, you could change your behavior.
Okay, so he's basically gone down 6 years in like 18 months of doing this. So let's assume, which is definitely not true, but let's assume that he is basically taking off like, let's assume you take off like a year for every year that you do this.
Sounds
Would
great.
would you do this?
My question is, can you do a modified version where you still
Like how many hours? Yeah, it's like that's why I want to know, because I want to know, can you modify it? But I also want to know, well, what is he doing actually?
So
Like,
there's
how many
a-
hours a day?
There's a
does this
YouTube
take?
video that talks about a day in he calls it the blueprint protocol. And I didn't get a chance to watch it all. It was a 40-minute video. But I mean, consider this a full-time job. Like if you have a normal
Full-time job.
life, there's no way. I mean,
your life is to live
But he's just
longer.
working out an hour a day, right?
I think it's a ton of monitoring. Like, okay, how many skin creams do you apply a day? He's applying 7. Like, I don't have time
Steven's
for
the king of cream, dude.
I don't know. He's got baby face.
Okay, the youngest looking guy here. This whole pod apparently doesn't age. It's like the strangest thing.
We're brown, man.
Yeah. Sorry, brother.
Okay, so you wouldn't do this if it was a full. Let's assume it's not a full time. Let's assume it's 4 hours a day, which I still think is super extreme. Would you do this to take a year off your life
Obviously.
every year?
Yeah,
for 4 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. But
But I
like,
wouldn't devote my entirety to
but he's
this
saying
thing.
it does it now. So would you want to eat his green mush every day for?
That's fine. I'm
That's
okay,
okay.
with that. I'm okay with that.
Are you
But
sure? Because have you had pizza lately? I mean, it's fucking
I love
delicious.
pizza. But my question is, like, if you have one pizza,
Yeah.
like one day out of the year, does that like put you back up to like your natural age?
I don't know.
Does that kill you?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, it'll kill your stomach that day. That's for sure.
Well, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I don't think anybody at this table can afford a $2 million a year run rate on anti-aging at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those 10-year yields are getting up there.
It's gonna get a little pricey by year 10. Maybe we can float. Maybe we can float like a year or two. But like,
JP bumped us up 25 basis points. You know, he's helping us out.
if you could do this on, let's imagine you have to spend 80 cents out of every dollar you make doing this, but you could do this, and you would basically have to downgrade your lifestyle. You would have to go back to living in like a very modest, like we'll give you a 2-bedroom apartment, not in like the super nice building downtown, but like, you know, something you might get for like $2,500 in North Park or
Can I still go to
something.
Japan?
You can take one trip a year. You,
you
can
just
afford
saved
it,
your
but
life.
you have
You
to
don't go to Nepal.
you have
just
to
saved your
dump
life. That was the
all
biggest-
of the other money you have into this, but you can basically go down to 18 years and like you can live apparently like
You're giving me
30%
the like
longer. Would you do it?
indulgence versus like.
I'm
you're
just
giving me
curious,
the-
like, when is it worth it to do this? Like, how much pain and sacrifice versus like, yo, I just want to live.
versus like, well, there's another question of it too. It's like, what's the ideal for you? Like, where would you put the sliding scale?
Well, I guess I'm already deciding, right? Like, I know that alcohol is not good for longevity, but I'm sitting here drinking it with
That's a
you
good
guys.
point.
So, like, I guess I'm already making that decision. There is a
But
balance.
you've accepted the inevitability that you will sort of die, and like there's these constraints that you're in. You're like, what am I going to do? I'm going to gain 1 year at the end of my life by like not drinking ever or something. Like, I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking about going backwards, staying there, and maybe like living like 30-40% longer. Like,
I will say,
what would you
I
do?
don't know,
When
he's-
you-
like, if he's going backwards, then he lives forever. So I might be in the camp where you do the 80-20 of it.
I'm curious to
and
watch him over the next 10 years. Like,
Yeah,
what's going to happen?
I hope
to
he
this guy?
keeps going. 'Cause
Yeah.
that'll be
He
super-
will. Like when there's a certain type of human being it takes to follow a protocol for 18 months, but you watch him talk about it and he is just like in the zone of like, this is the way, this is his most important life work. And it's freeing to him. Like, it's not like a burden. But back to the costs. Can we talk about the cost real quick? Because
Yeah.
I found some numbers.
Oh, okay.
Food costs, $63 a day. is what he calculates it out to, which is
Sounds
by no
high
means
for vegetables, dude.
by no
That's,
means cheap, because
I think
it's
I
a lot of
spent
the
more than that
supplements
already.
that go in the smoothie, right? Whatever. Supplement costs $12 a day, $11 a day. One-time kitchen readiness costs $500, like blender, food scale, storage.
I love that he has that
Can't
line
believe he
item on
itemized
this $2 million.
$50.
No, I mean this guy is like pure psychopath, like in a good way if you like data. He's got it all broken down. He's got his like nutritional labels for every meal he.
Well, I'm
he
trying to
takes.
figure out where this like $180,000 a month is coming
Well,
from.
I think he's got doctors on the payroll. Plus, these tests are not cheap. That full body MRI that he's doing probably monthly, it costs me like over $2,000. So per
does
person.
he have to do that monthly though? Like I feel like you could do his
I think
thing
he's
on
like
a budget.
He's like it
just
doesn't
got
hurt
so much
me.
money.
Why
he
wouldn't I do
doesn't-
it every month?
He's got so much money he doesn't care.
Right.
But I wonder what you could get his thing to on a budget. Like maybe you could do his thing for $300K a year.
Yeah.
For $400K a year. Then it's like
You guys
actually
made me
doable
do.
for
You guys made me do a
rich people.
dopamine detox. Let's do one of these. Like, let's do a fucking 12-day Brian Johnson.
Epigenetic reversal.
Yeah, dude. I'd be much happier doing that.
Guys, we're still doomed after 12 days.
I think you'd still hate it.
Anyway, I think we should follow this guy. I'd be curious what people think about it. Like, some people think he's a psychopath and like there's no way to live life. But like, I think once he's in that groove, he's got that who's the Navy SEAL we joke about? Jocko. Like he's like discipline is freedom. He's got kind of one of those grooves going on.
Yeah. Well, I kicked that can down the road because I don't think there's anybody at this table, and I don't think there's anybody in our community who's going to be like against him as an individual trying something that's for
No,
him.
it's
You know,
like-
like,
Great for him.
and he's like sharing all of his data, so it's actually like he's bearing the burden, but he's like giving the alpha to everybody.
So if you go to blueprint.brianjohnson.co, he's got everything spelled out, his test results, his supplement protocol, everything. You can kind of pick and choose down the list and down the shopping list and try some stuff out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I would zero myself out for sure to go down to 18.
You would.
I would.
I mean, I guess I took the VO2 max test,
yeah.
and I was like stoked that for my age I was at the highest thing that you could get for your age. But like to get to an 18-year-old is actually,
I think I would zero out and then go into like millions of dollars of debt. Like imagine you could be like basically 18 again, but then retain all of your
my God.
knowledge and everything. Like you just make it back so
Easy.
fast.
Yeah.
I wonder, I actually never looked to see if he's married, because like I do think there's an issue. Like you're obviously, if you're married, living with a significant other, it's an impact on
She
for sure
better
your lifestyle, but like most definitely theirs.
She better be on board.
Yes.
He's got some sons that are on it, and the sons are already 16 on, for the most part, on the protocol,
Damn.
and they're going to be.
Are they 8?
The 16-year-olds are now 8. Yeah, they're jacked as well. They're on the like. He shared this social media post of his son's friend, who took a picture of his meal that he had brought to lunch for school every day, and it was basically like a tin full of green goop, and he's like, "Yo, man, I hope everything's good at home. My boy's been bringing this like green goop for 30 days straight. Like I hope everything's good at home. Like, and so yeah, his whole family's on it. He's got his dad on it.
So it's the same thing every single meal.
yeah.
It's this green goop stuff.
Green goop, and then it's like a veggie goop, and then you get like a nut and berries goop together.
I do think the food is pretty reasonable. I think like all the other lifestyle things you have to accept are so much harder. Like going to bed at the same time every day. Like you literally quit your job to make this your full-time job. Like I don't think that eating green goop is the problem.
Right. And he shows some of these tests he does, and they're gnarly, like testing his skin and hair, hearing. I mean, he's got everything measured. Vision. He's trying to measure every single component, like his left ear.
How do you
do as well.
reverse like your eyes by eating green goop?
Well,
that
like
part seems
he's
crazy
trying to
to me.
reverse some of his hearing loss in his left ear because he went hunting a lot as a kid, and he's just trying to figure out anything he can do. He's testing, measuring, seeing if it worked, then kind of redoing everything.
Does he tweet?
I think so. I think he's been responding to some of the press he's gotten, but like some of the most important things, I think like he's been measuring the like diameter and thickness of his arteries in his heart, which who do you
I thought you were
know?
gonna say penis.
Yeah. You're like, say it. Go on. But I wish, we had that stuff available to everyone.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Damn. Well, tip of the cap to him.
Yeah,
It's good to have somebody out there
Well,
doing this.
I'm
and-
definitely watching that 40-minute blueprint, and I'm going to implement something. I don't know if I'm going to do much, but I'm going to do something.
He seems pretty
I gotta
happy.
put that in my
Seems like pretty
to-do
at peace.
list
I mean,
before I
if I had
forget.
$300 million, things would be a little more peaceful. Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe not.
All right, cool.
Oh, our shitcoin doubled.
Did it again?
Yeah, anyway. Sorry, I shouldn't have looked at it
Wait,
while
what's
we were
it at?
podcasting. I don't know. I didn't look at it.
Can't do
I'm not
that.
broadcasting this.
Wow.
Oh yeah, like nobody out there knows we invest in illiquid shitcoins.
Anything else we should cover?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I will have a trip report for you guys.
Oh, that's right.
Next
So,
week.
Oh, this is good.
For those of you
For those of
watching on
you,
YouTube,
You
have
may
noticed-
notice I don't have any alcohol in front of me.
Why, Steven? Are you on meds?
No, I am doing a 8-hour drug-induced like therapy session tomorrow.
Can you go into the types of drugs, maybe?
I am told it's probably going to be some combination of MDMA and DMT, although apparently it has to get felt out when I'm there. Like maybe there's some other stuff I could go on.
Okay.
So I'm interested to do that because I feel like I've hit the limits of what normal therapy does, and I feel like I'm kind of a crazy
You and I
person.
have shared a therapist at some point. There's got to be some kind of like emotional bond there, even though she
Yeah.
can't share or disclose. But like,
I mean,
Eskimo brothers.
yeah.
this was recommended to me by my current therapist, who is
Okay.
not legally allowed to administer this particular type of treatment, obviously.
Of course.
I don't know if that was like I can't help you anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, you're beyond.
All right. So, but for the most part, we're gonna get like a rundown. Like, I'll give a rundown of my little MRI thing, but you will give us a rundown of this whole experience.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't like.
Crack.
Yeah, and you never see me again.
He's
I
like,
just
guys,
moved
I
to a small
sold
island
everything.
in the Pacific. And
Just charts aren't for me.
It sounds amazing.
what if I renounce charts tomorrow?
Maybe that's what you need.
Maybe it is.
It's not what we need. We need you to love charts. So just to be clear, can I incept that into your psyche before you go
Yeah,
into this
yeah.
thing? Like, we need
Get
the
that
charts.
deep
yeah.
down.
yeah.
It'd be a really weird episode on Friday, if so.
That's what I'm worried about. So I asked you before we started recording, like, are you going to be fully recovered by the time we do our live stream on Friday morning?
I mean, I probably.
This is so
Well,
fucked.
yeah, I heard DMT is pretty light, so you'll be fine.
This is so
This could also be like a really funny kind of Tarantino thing because they're getting like the episodes are in the reverse order.
Well, this is published Friday morning. At the same time, we're going to go live.
So they could be me just like non-responsive on stream, and then they listen to this after, and they're like, "Oh, that's what happened."
Steven's Wi-Fi is frozen. Nope. Just catatonic. Just pure catatonic.
Just hasn't moved
It just hasn't
in 30 minutes.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you have a backup plan for Friday ready in case
Yeah,
I
Eric and I will side chat. Don't worry.
show up with one of those like Tulum hats, and I'm just like, this is still
Crystals
so silly.
would be great.
Yeah.
Maybe some chest hair.
I've got the real alpha for you.
All right. And we miss you, Armand. Happy
Armand would have loved these topics.
He really would have.
Sad he's not here, but
Yeah.
congratulations again, Armand. We love you.
We love you.
We'll see you. I don't know when we'll see you again.
I don't
but
know.
Hopefully,
we might not see him ever. I mean,
hopefully
like, guys' nights,
soon.
he might just cancel
Yeah.
it. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. See you in the Discord. See you on YouTube. Talk to you soon.
Adios.
Bye.